This foldable is for angle measures. This is section 1-4. And what we're going to do is fold it inwards like this, like a book. We're going to start with the page in the inside, and these are just measures of angles. When a measure is considered acute, it is less than 90. So I'm going to say less than 90 degrees. When it's right, it equals exactly 90. An angle can be named 4 different ways. So we haven't seen this before. We can name an angle by the letters. For example, like this. This is the symbol for angle. We can call it angle A, B, C. We can go in the reverse order and it'll indicate the same angle, angle CBA. We can also name it just by the vertex. The vertex is the corner, so angle B. We can also name it by the number that's inside, call it angle 2. Let's move on to this page. And an angle is formed by two non-linear rays and endpoints and arrows that have a common endpoint called a vertex. So what this is saying is that we have things now that are called rays. Rays have a start point, which we can call endpoint, and then an arrow that keeps going. So we have an endpoint and an arrow that keeps going. It says that they have to be non-linear. Well, actually, they can still be linear, and that's called a straight angle. And the straight angle equals 180 degrees. So we can make another ray like this, and it's formed by 2 rays and endpoints, and this is called the vertex. So this is a ray, and this right here is the vertex. An obtuse angle is an angle that is greater than 90 degrees. An angle bisector divides angles into 2 congruent parts. So when we were looking at segments, we called it a midpoint. When the thing actually does the cutting, we call it a bisector. So this is sort of like the one that cuts. It cuts an angle, it cuts a segment, and they'll cut a segment in half. So a bisector cuts into 2 congruent. So it's got to be congruent. To be a bisector, the segments are got to be congruent. If ray, and that's how we read this, so it only has one segment going that way, not like in arrow that we had before, DG, so it starts here and goes this way, is an angle bisector to CD, then we know that the angle CDG is congruent to the angle GDF. They don't look congruent, you just need it because I told you, that's why they are congruent. So right here, again, if I tell you, then we know that they are. If you fold it over this way, we got interior points are inside of an angle. So we're talking about this right here. That would be considered inside of the angle. Interior points of ABC, of the angle ABC, are point G and D. Remember, we don't have to write the word point, but we do need a comma to indicate that we're talking about 2 separate things, not one thing together. Exterior points are the ones that are outside of the angle. So the points here would be F and H. And we make a comma to indicate that we're talking about 2 different things. I want to turn this over and I want to tell you about the straight angle. So when you have 2 rays that go in opposite direction, this is called a straight. A straight angle. And the measurement of a straight angle is equal to 180 degrees.